Welcome to one more game presented by Hoosier Pickleball. I am your host, Matt Brandenberger. Beside me is my beautiful, lovely, splendid wife. I'm just going for multiple.
Yeah,
at this point,
Nice.
I've used them all.
Yeah.
This is Abby.
So when you put them together,
Yes.
right?
they become false when you put them together. Is that
They cancel each other out.
Exactly.
I'm just pushing buttons over here.
And this-
What do I know?
Our button pusher is Adam
Oh.
Moreno. So welcome. Glad you're here. This episode is going to be kind of an interesting one. Abby is the expert in this. Maybe I am because I'm
I was
so
gonna say I'm actually
injury
not.
prone. You're not. But the physical therapy side of Abby is the expert in this. But we're going to be talking about injury prevention. But we like to oftentimes start out with what is so crazy in our life, because this podcast is really for those who love pickleball, but life be crazy. So, Abs, what's crazy nowadays?
Yeah, these days. So we really have tried to get into family games as family time.
Yep.
Our girls, I think, would prefer to watch TV, but we're trying to
For
do
sure. Yeah.
like family games, guys.
Yeah.
And they're always crazy.
Yeah.
Like Monopoly?
Yeah. And,
No.
yeah. And so
That's more old. That's more when we were kids, huh?
yeah. Last Christmas we had gotten them a bunch of games.
Games.
And so we're trying to play more and more of those
Yeah.
games. And we're talking like, I like to play like Euro style, like
Not that.
serious
We're talking
strategic games. We're talking like our
Yahtzee.
Yahtzee and
Yeah.
basic
Connect Four.
One of the games, can I tell this story?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the games that we play is called Time's Up. And if you've played Time's Up, it's a fun game. I'm not going to explain all the rules, but it's kind of like you're trying to get people
Kinda
to
like
guess.
Taboo.
Yeah,
Is
kind
that
of like
fair?
that's it. That's
Yeah.
fair.
You can't say certain
Right, you're trying to
words.
get them, but there's like 3 rounds. Here
Anyway,
I am
don't
explaining
explain
the rules. Okay, but it's a great game.
Yeah.
Check it out. Time's
Super
Up.
fun.
All right.
We'll put the
Link is in the show notes.
There you go. Time's up. Writing it down with the pickle pen. So time's up, and I'm trying to give clues, and we kind of divide it up, which is difficult in a family of 7 with girls ranging in age from 6 to 14. Like pretty rough. So my team, not the strongest, but we're doing great, and our middle child, Emmeline, is on my team, and the clue is actually the word clue. Okay. So it's like the board game Clue is what I'm trying to get her to guess. And so she's heard this because in Time's Up, you know what all the answers are going to be. And so I'm just using like charades to kind of help her. And I kind of do a magnifying glass charade type thing.
Sure, that makes sense. That's tough, because that's tough, honestly.
Yeah. But she says clues. Like she gets excited and says clues. And I went close. I said, take off. I said, it's singular. I said, make it singular. Is that what I said?
Yes.
Make it singular. Take off the S. She kind of looks at me weird and she goes, Ingular?
Singular, take off the S.
We all almost fell out of our
Like,
chairs.
you win. Like, that's it.
And
Like,
she is just the most animated, just cutest little thing. And she's
Yeah.
Ingular? Like, is that even a
like
word?
that doesn't make sense.
Right. No. And then she
so
got it a couple of
funny.
seconds later.
That
But
was
that
hysterical.
was great. But we have had a lot of fun,
Yeah.
board game, game night memories with the kids lately, and
Yeah.
hoping to do more and more of that.
Yeah.
So,
Super fun.
what else is going on?
Yeah. I mean, so the dog is still, she's a spaz and she's growing and she can make it up the stairs now, which is really cute.
That's kind of
really
crazy.
cute.
That's kind of early on.
It
Like,
is.
we
I
were-
mean, she's
we
like the height of the stairs, but somehow she makes it.
Right. I think we had left her alone thinking that she'd be okay with our other dog and not get upstairs and get into anything, but we get home and she's upstairs. So maybe the other one like carried her up. I don't know.
Get on my back.
Yeah. Tiger is pretty strong.
Yeah.
But Coco the dog doing
Coco,
well.
yep.
I am happy. I think I can say that we have 2 dogs now. It's brought a lot of joy to the
Yep,
girls.
yep.
So it's
That's good.
been fun. So
Yeah, so let's just get right into the topic because, I mean, here's the thing. Like, this is a topic we can really talk about for a really long time, and I don't want to.
yeah, there are entire podcasts that are devoted to just this topic.
Right. So we will do another one. How about that?
Sure.
So we'll do this. We'll cover some basics, and then we'll dig deeper later.
Sure.
We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
We'll see how good of a job you did writing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're talking recovery.
We're just talking
Or, I'm
injury.
sorry, injury.
Injury prevention.
Prevention,
Now, listen.
okay.
I will always say
That
that
doesn't even know.
you can.
Well,
So what are we talking about? Cheeseburgers?
In and out.
Cheeseburgers.
Like, yeah, dude, yeah.
That sounds great.
That's what we're talking
You
about.
just sit here and look pretty.
Yeah, like just
He's just the eye candy.
Hold my pickle
just
pen.
let the wife talk.
But here's why I say that. Here's why I got confused because, like, let me just say off the bat, I'm kind of more of the recovery expert, right?
You are.
Yeah. The preventative side is I need to listen to this.
Yes, he does.
Just brief history of Matt. I have had 3 major injuries. All were, now it's been 10 plus years. 2 ACLs and an Achilles. And my orthopedic...
All within like 5 years.
Yeah,
So,
less
yeah.
than that maybe.
Yeah.
But my orthopedic surgeon said multiple times to me, he's like, your body breaks down really easily. But he's like, your recovery is phenomenal. Like I would, have the recovery time for an ACL is it's supposed to be like 6 months.
Seriously, you nailed it.
And I just knocked it out because but here's the thing. I did what I was supposed to do in the recovery. If he was like, even I remember the first night after surgery, he's like, just do these like
Quad sets.
leg lifts. There he goes. I couldn't even remember. Abby remembers. And he's like, try to do 2 or 3 sets of them. I was like, screw
He
that.
did them all night long.
I'm doing 10 sets of them. And so my recovery was really quick because I listened. So what I need to do is do a better job of listening to the things, to Abby, and what I should do preventatively. To stay
Abby.
uninjured. Yeah. So, Abby, take it away.
He's talked for 4 minutes straight.
Right. I know. This is supposed to be short, guys.
Not listening.
So I will also say that I have done all of these things and I've still been injured. So this is no promise in any of those things, but the best chance you have to stay minimally injured. So number 1 is, are you cross training? So are you taking a day off of pickleball or a week off of pickleball? And are you walking, playing with your kids, playing catch in the backyard, going running, getting on your bike? Just, I would never recommend a child focus on one sport. I would definitely not recommend an adult do that either. So take your dog on a walk, take your wife on a walk. I don't care. Go do something else that's not pickleball.
Just trying to use different muscle sets.
Different muscles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be my question. I'm constantly injured. Are you taking any time off? My next question to you, if you are dealing with injuries, would be, are you lifting weights and doing some plyometrics? Okay. So we're talking weightlifting, squats, deadlifts, lunges, anything single leg in pickleball would be beneficial. Single leg squat, single leg deadlift. Okay. That'd be for knees, hips, ankles, core, then lat pull downs, planks, biceps, triceps, wrist flexion and extension. That's going to be for shoulders, elbows, and wrists.
Yeah.
Okay. And core.
Can we put some of these, instead of trying to describe them, difficult to do in a podcast, can we put some of these in the show notes? Maybe
I was going to try my best to find some resources to put in the show notes. Yes.
Or even do some TikToks that are specifically related to some of these exercises. So we'll do that.
Yeah. So that's the weightlifting side. The plyometric side is just as important. So plyometrics is going to be like a jump training explosive. So jumping rope. Anytime you can do something single leg is beneficial. So single leg jumping rope, double leg jumping rope, defensive slides, burpees, box jumps, even something as simple as hopping across the floor, hopping across a room on one leg, forward and backwards on each leg, just back and forth 3 times. Even that would be beneficial to balance, proprioception, explosion, all of those things.
When I coached high school basketball, we absolutely did all that stuff you just said.
Yep.
Including yoga.
Yeah. And yes. So that is yoga and Pilates would both be something that I hate. But yes, also that would be in the cross training.
The first week we did it, everyone just laughed and didn't take it seriously. But then by the 3rd week, the guys would ask the coaching staff, "Hey, are we doing yoga this week?" Like they enjoyed the stretch and they actually got into it.
So yes, are you warming up before you play and stretching after you play?
How many people seriously think on the pickleball court? I've seen I have one friend who will run a lap or 2 around the court.
Well, yes. So do a decent warm up. Listen, I'm not even asking for anything complicated, but while you're dinking, everybody dinks.
Yeah.
Do some deep squats while you're dinking. Okay. That's going to be a good warm up.
Yeah.
Throw some planks in before you start. To your point, run a couple laps around the court. I don't stretch right after I play, but I will stretch other times. So if you don't like to stretch, use a foam roller. That is actually just as effective as stretching and in fact can be beneficial strength-wise, because stretching can decrease strength just a touch in that moment. Foam rolling does not. That's a whole nother topic.
So we have a foam roller at home. Seems like it would be pretty bulky to throw in my pickleball bag.
So true.
So do you do it before you go to the court?
No, I would stretch after you play. Which is hard to do. I get it because we all hop in our cars and we get home and by the time we get out of the car, when we get home, we're all like,
Tin Man.
barely getting out of the car. So stretch real quick if you can in the lobby or wherever you can.
Sure.
And so then, hamstrings, quads, calves, forearms, and shoulders.
Yeah.
Stretch and warm up. Next question is, are you sleeping okay? Sleep is so important. Again, whole podcast topic I can go on.
Right.
Do you know sleep is the number one factor in pain levels?
Really?
Meaning if you're in pain, automatically look at your sleep. It's so crazy. I can do all I have all the research, but so we can talk about it later, but
That's
just
so crazy.
hear me.
Yeah.
Look at your sleep.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you hurting? Most people are. If you're 4 to 5 out of 10. Okay. I know that's very subjective, but just run with it here.
That's a pain level.
4 to 5 out of 10. Yeah. 10 is like, I can no longer go on living. I mean, it's serious. 4 to 5 is tolerable. I'd say, you know what? Give it some time. You're probably going to be okay. If it creeps up past a 5 while you're playing or after you're playing, if you're like 6 and 7, you need to go see your nearest PT. Of course, I would recommend Indiana Physical Therapy. In Indiana, we have direct access, which means you don't have to go to your doctor first. You can go straight to your nearest Indiana Physical Therapy. Yeah. And then the last thought I have is, okay, so a lot of the issues in pickleball are tendinopathy. So like an elbow or a knee, like patellar tendonitis, tennis elbow, pickleball elbow. So that's when I would recommend something called eccentric contractions, which we can get to in a second. Icing, stretching, scraping, dry needling, and cupping can all be helpful while you stay active. Okay, because I'm going to recommend something called meat versus rice. Do you know what rice is, Adam?
Raise,
Rest,
something,
ice,
elevate.
Rest, ice, compression, elevation.
Way to put them on the spot. And way to do a pretty good job.
You knew it.
I do, yeah.
Yeah. I recommend meat.
So you like meat over rice?
I sure do. Movement, exercise, analgesics, and treatment. Okay. So
help us out with analgesics.
Some pain meds.
Okay.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes. Sometimes you just...
Well, you can't spell meat with a P. Pain meds.
Pain
right?
meds, analgesics. That's obviously something, you need to talk to your doctor about, because I'm not your doctor.
Yeah.
But sometimes ibuprofen is just what you need.
Is what it
is.
That's fair.
And so why is it that you recommend that over rice?
Because I've seen the evidence that obviously if it's a bone break, hear me, please rest your broken bone.
Okay, obvious.
But we're talking even sprained ankles, even my torn ACL. Like, keep moving, keep your muscles strong, keep your joint moving. Otherwise, you only get weaker. Once something hurts, your muscles already weaken. If you then don't move your muscles anymore, they get weaker and weaker. And that only fuels the downward spiral of the pain cycle. So stay moving, exercise appropriately, sometimes take your pain meds. And then treatment. I'm obviously a fan of treatment. So eccentric contractions, that's again a whole topic, but it's basically, so if you do a bicep curl and you move your hand up to your shoulder, that's concentric.
Okay.
The slowly lowering it back down is the eccentric. It's the eccentric contraction that actually strengthens and builds the ends of your muscle. The concentric builds the belly of your muscle.
And so most people are... and they want to build that muscle.
Right.
They want big muscles, so they're doing that.
Right. So you go up fast, but then down, slow, that builds your tendons. That is actually what can heal and prevent tendinitis.
Interesting.
So if we're talking tennis elbow, we're talking wrist, extend up, and then slowly lower it down. That builds those... can rebuild your tendon that is in your elbow for tennis elbow. So, awesome. Just as a side note, if you can Google or YouTube Throwers 10, that's good for shoulders. That's a band workout for baseball players and stuff, but it's always good to do anytime you can do lunges, heel raises, planks.
So that's good. I want to take a quick break and hear from one of our sponsors. You mentioned them, Indiana Physical Therapy, which you worked at for how many years?
14.
14 years. Great company, locally owned here in Fort Wayne, but they have offices all over the greater Indiana area. But we're going to hear from them, then we're going to come back and just wrap this up. Just a couple questions want to cover. So we'll be right back.
Between the two of us, we've had 7 orthopedic surgeries, 4 cortisone injections, and countless injuries that have required physical therapy, and we are only in our early 40s. So where do we go when we need physical therapy? Indiana Physical Therapy.
That's right, Abby. With 22 locations in Fort Wayne and the surrounding counties, Indiana Physical Therapy will be there to get you back to work, play, and life.
Indiana Physical Therapy, where people go to get better.
Visit indianapt.com for more information. Welcome back to One More Game, presented by Hoosier Pickleball. Today we're talking injury prevention, and Abby's given us a lot of good stuff to think about. The question I have, though, so for myself, again, I said earlier in the podcast that I struggle with, finding the time, being lazy is all part of it to really work on the preventative side. But once something happens, I want to recover and I want to get back out there. But what are maybe, just give me 2 things, give our listeners 2 things to really focus on to help, that's going to give us the best chance. You said earlier too, these are no guarantees. Things happen. You're in as good a shape as anybody I know, and do take the time to do this stuff. And you tore your ACL.
Sure, yeah.
And so it's no guarantees, but give me a couple things.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And one rule, it cannot be, whatever thing you're going to say, it cannot be eat less bacon. I'm out.
Right.
Oh, nutrition will be a whole thing, Adam, but it includes bacon, so no worries.
Bacon's good.
Because I'm out. If you,
Yeah.
All right. The floor is yours.
This is really good, and I love your point that you don't have a lot of time, because I don't either.
Right.
And so I am all about, let's be effective. So I mean, my cross training workouts in the basement, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I have 20 minutes 3 times a week, and I know you do too. I know it.
Even that sounds a little overwhelming, to be honest.
Okay, so here's what I would do if I were you, Matt. I would grab the jump rope we have in the basement, and I would single leg jump rope. Just, 100 times on each leg.
Okay.
50 times on each leg.
Feels doable.
Okay. I would also do not only planks, but side planks.
Okay.
And I'm not even a big, how long can you plank fan? I'm talking 10 seconds.
But do them in weird spots and then record it for a TikTok. Because then it's fun.
Wasn't that a whole thing?
Yeah.
There should
Bring it back.
Planking.
2023.
And then we'll do the ice bucket challenge.
And then parkour.
Oh my gosh. The Office.
Yeah.
I was about to say
Parkour.
it. Falls right in the trash.
Okay. So I like
So,
that. That's
yeah.
good.
And do 10-second planks forward,
Yeah.
side and side.
But there should be some
5
level
times.
of exhaustion. If I do 10 seconds, nothing?
Nope.
I mean, I don't want to feel it a little bit.
No.
She's the boss. Chili sauce.
Okay. Yeah. Chill sauce.
No. What'd you say?
She's the
Don't worry
boss.
about it.
Chill sauce?
Chili sauce.
Oh, chili
She's the
sauce.
boss. Chili sauce.
No.
And then I would do lunges.
Okay.
10, I don't even care.
Okay.
15.
I like that. Start small, build up. How about I'm going out to play? Like same thing. I mean, just do a few of those.
Yeah.
You know what I used to do that I have gotten away from that I felt like for a long time really helped is you taught me this, where I just lay on my back. I stick one leg in the air, and is my knee bent on my other leg or
It
straight?
can be, yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
And the one leg in the air, just full extension, and just raising my heel up and down. What's that called?
Okay, so thank you for mentioning that, because I wanted to, but I didn't put it in the notes because I didn't know. Those are nerve glides.
Nerve glide.
Oftentimes our hamstrings are actually a decent flexibility. It is our nervous system that is
Is that what
all,
that is?
yep. So if you can do a nerve glide, so you're laying on your back, you pull your knee up and you straighten your leg as much as you can, and just pull your toes back towards you till you feel a zing.
Yep.
And you hold it for just a second or two.
Yeah.
Just 30 of those on each side will actually increase your hamstring flexibility.
Yeah. And I think
that's not hard to do.
I think I found that. I mean, that again, I'm going to get back. That's the one that I used to do before I would play. I would just lay on the ground anywhere for, a minute, and do, a minute on each side. So in 2 minutes, and it made my, I guess, hamstring flexibility, which I am usually pretty tight in my hamstrings. I think that's a good one. So maybe that would be my tip for
Yeah.
you to start
Again,
out.
high
Thank you
school
for
basketball.
mentioning,
Right.
When you go to any high school basketball game in the pregame warm-ups, they're doing that.
Yeah.
There's 2 players will go, one guy will help him, and then they'll trade off.
Right.
You'll see that.
Yeah.
So another thing, and hamstrings are very tight on Americans, per the way we typically sit. And another thing that is so good for flexibility is actually strength. So deadlifts,
Deadlifts as well.
single and double leg deadlifts, completely changed my hamstring flexibility as well.
So how do they sit in other countries? I mean,
Squats.
squats.
Yep. There's a lot of countries that are more squat based.
Really? And
Can
we,
you? I mean, can
I've heard
you?
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Posture is a thing
Yep.
here. We have horrible.
We do. We
I
sit at
have
desk.
horrible
We have
posture.
short
Yeah.
hip flexors.
Yeah.
We have weak hamstrings, weak cores.
I need
That's-
to get a different chair then or
But
something.
we're
A standing
ridiculously good
A
looking.
standing desk.
A standing desk. But we are.
Right. Strengths and weaknesses. We can't have it all. Adam.
Yeah.
We can't have it all. All right. Well, let's wrap this up. Trying to keep our episodes. That's always a goal.
I know.
I think we've done a pretty
We
good job
have.
this time.
Right.
Well, this time. Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
I thought you meant as a whole. I'm like,
But we're not done yet. So maybe I spoke too soon because we want to end with something we love. So
Yeah.
Abby, start out.
Yeah, I mean, I really am loving that I'm getting a lot of customers for lessons.
That's awesome.
So fun. So fun.
Thanks for
I love it.
helping put shoes on the feet of the little Brandenburger girls.
Putting food in their mouths.
Putting food in their mouths.
rice and meat.
And rice and
Really more
Nice
Cheetos and Doritos.
Exactly. Yeah, that's been great. You have been doing a great job. You are very good at
You're very kind.
teaching lessons, and so anybody who's not reached out, Abby's, I'm there as well, but I'm more hardcore. You want a nicer lesson? Go with Abby. She's much kinder. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you work. I mean, you're working, so
Right.
I'm the one.
I've not had as much time for lessons, but do them here and there.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I'm loving, kind of along those same lines, is just our community. I know I
Mm-hmm.
say this, I probably said it in episodes recently, but I'm always just so thankful for everybody who's tuning in. This has just been so much fun for us. It continues to be a blast, and we appreciate those of you who are listening. Spread the word. Please let us help get the word out all over the place for listening to One More Game. And if you haven't, leave us a 5-star review. That does help grow it as well. So when people search podcasts, I haven't checked lately, but at one point we were like the number 6 podcast for pickleball. So we'd love to continue to grow that, and you guys are the ones that help do that. So we appreciate you. We thank you for that. So until next time, this has been One More Game, presented by Hoosier Pickleball. We'll see you later. As always, we want to thank our sponsors, Hoosier Pickleball, Indiana Physical Therapy, and Pickleball Rocks. In addition, a big thank you to our production company, Coraggio Media, and the 95.7 WELT studio in beautiful downtown Fort Wayne. Please make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, or find us on YouTube at One More Game Pod. That's the number 1 More Game Pod. Hit that subscribe button and be sure to leave us a 5-star rating to help us spread the word. You can also find us on Facebook and TikTok at Hoosier Pickleball for all kinds of fun, tips, tricks, and other family nonsense, and also some great discussion. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.